It was a chilly autumn afternoon when I found myself sitting on the old wooden bench in my backyard, the leaves rustling softly in the gentle breeze. I could smell the earthy scent of damp soil mixed with the sweetness of ripe apples hanging from the tree branches above. It was a moment of stillness, a rare gift in my life, but it was also a moment steeped in the weight of memories, memories of a time when I felt the sting of disrespect from those I held dear. I remember vividly the day I discovered the truth about my family. We had gathered for a birthday celebration, the air filled with laughter and the aroma of my mother's famous chocolate cake. It should have been a joyous occasion, but as I sat there, I could feel an undercurrent of tension. The conversations felt forced, laughter was tinged with a hint of mockery, and I, the unsuspecting guest of honor, felt like an outsider looking in. It was in those fleeting moments of forced smiles and hollow words that I sensed the betrayal lurking beneath the surface. As the evening wore on, I overheard hushed whispers that sliced through my heart. They spoke of my choices, my dreams, and the paths I had taken that diverged from their expectations. I had always been the black sheep, chasing after what I believed was my purpose, but their disdain was palpable. It was humiliating to realize that those who should have celebrated my individuality were instead belittling it. I felt a lump form in my throat, the sting of tears threatening to spill over, but I swallowed hard, refusing to show them my pain. The days that followed were heavy. I retreated into myself, enveloped in a blanket of loneliness. I remember the quiet of my home, the echo of my footsteps against the wooden floor, the silence that filled the empty spaces I spent countless nights pondering over the words that had cut me so deeply. The warmth of family gatherings faded into a distant memory, replaced by a profound sense of solitude. I often wandered outside, feeling the crisp air on my skin, hoping that nature would offer some solace, yet it only mirrored my internal turmoil. But, as time has a way of doing, it brought with it a lesson, one that would transform my despair into strength. I began to understand that disrespect from those we love can be a painful catalyst for growth. I realized that my worth was not defined by their opinions or their scorn. I learned to embrace my differences, to stand tall in the face of their judgment. I discovered the power of self-acceptance, and it felt like a warm embrace on a cold winter night. The turning point came unexpectedly one day while rummaging through old boxes in the attic. I stumbled upon a collection of letters written by my late grandmother. Each letter was filled with tales of her struggles, her triumphs, and her unwavering belief in the importance of individuality. She had faced her own family's skepticism, yet she had forged her path with courage. As I read her words, a wave of clarity washed over me. I realized that I carried her spirit within me, a spirit that refused to be silenced. With newfound resolve, I made the decision to confront my family, not with anger, but with honesty. I invited them over for dinner, my heart racing as I prepared the table. The familiar sense of roasted chicken and garlic wafted through the air, but this time I was determined to create a space for open dialogue. As they settled around the table, I could sense the tension returning, but I took a deep breath and spoke from my heart. "I want to share something with you," I began, my voice steady despite the tremors of vulnerability. "For too long, I've felt the weight of your disapproval. It has hurt me deeply, and I need you to understand that my journey is mine to own." I watched their faces shift. Surprise mingling with discomfort, I continued, sharing my dreams, my aspirations, and the love I had cultivated for myself. In that moment, I witnessed a change, a flicker of recognition in their eyes. They began to speak, slowly at first, but their words evolved into a heartfelt exchange. It was a conversation filled with apologies, misunderstandings, and an unexpected realization of common ground. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of connection. They began to share their fears, their disappointments, and the weight of expectations they had placed on themselves and on me. The evening unfolded like a delicate dance of vulnerability and healing. As we shared laughter and tears, I felt the chains of resentment begin to loosen. It was a cathartic release, a moment where we acknowledged our imperfections and embraced each other's humanity. I realized that while respect is a fundamental pillar of any relationship, understanding and compassion can pave the way toward reconciliation. As the night drew to a close, I felt a profound sense of peace wash over me. I had confronted the ghosts of my past, not with bitterness, but with the wisdom that only time can bestow. In that moment, I understood that love is not always perfect, and families are often flawed. Yet, within those imperfections lies the potential for growth and transformation. Looking back now, I can see the tapestry of lessons woven into my life. The first lesson was about self-worth, learning that I am enough just as I am. The second was about courage, the courage to voice my truths, no matter how uncomfortable. The third was about forgiveness, not just for my family, but for myself, for allowing their words to define my self-image for too long. The fourth was about the power of vulnerability, the strength that comes from being honest about our pain. The fifth lesson taught me the importance of empathy, recognizing that everyone carries their own burdens. The sixth was about the value of connection, how opening our hearts can mend even the deepest of wounds. And lastly, I learned that respect is a two-way street. It flourishes when nurtured by understanding and love. Now, as I sit on this bench, surrounded by the beauty of nature, I feel a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons learned, for the moments of pain that shaped my journey, and for the love that has, in its own way, endured. I invite you, dear listener, to reflect on your own experiences. Have you faced disrespect from those you love? How did you navigate those waters? Your story matters, and it can inspire others who may be walking a similar path. Leave your comments below. Let's share our journeys and find solace in our shared humanity. The conversations that night opened a door I didn't even know existed. It was as if we had been living in separate worlds, encased in our own perceptions and misunderstandings. As the discussion deepened, I felt a shift, a collective realization that our family dynamics were not merely a matter of disagreement, but rather a tapestry woven with fears and expectations that had never been addressed. I learned that the fifth lesson was the power of vulnerability. When I opened up about my own insecurities, my family mirrored that courage. My brother, who had always been the golden child, confessed his struggles with the expectations placed upon him. He revealed how, beneath the surface of his seemingly perfect life, lay a constant battle with anxiety and the pressure to uphold a facade. It was a moment that shook the very foundation of what I thought I knew about him. As he spoke, I recognized the universality of our struggles. Each of us, in our own way, was carrying a burden that we had been too proud or too scared to share. This realization made me understand that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge that connects us to one another. It was a lesson that went beyond our family. It echoed in the relationships I had with friends and colleagues as well. The more I embraced my own vulnerabilities, the more space I created for others to do the same. Then came the sixth lesson, the importance of empathy. I had spent so long feeling misunderstood that I had neglected to see things from their perspective. My parents, with their own dreams deferred and aspirations unfulfilled, had imposed their fears onto me. They had not meant to disrespect me, rather, they were acting out of their own insecurities. This understanding didn't excuse their behavior, but it allowed me to approach them with compassion. I began to see them not just as my family, but as individuals shaped by their unique experiences and hardships. As we shared stories, I noticed how the power dynamic shifted. The hierarchy that often existed in family relationships began to dissolve. We were no longer just parent and child, sibling and sibling. We became a circle of individuals navigating life together. This newfound respect for each other's journeys fostered a sense of connection I had longed for, but never knew how to cultivate. The seventh and final lesson emerged gradually. Respect is a two-way street. It flourishes when nurtured by understanding and love. I realized that while I had sought respect from my family, I had also needed to extend that respect back to them. It was a profound realization that relationships are an intricate dance of give and take. In recognizing their struggles and honoring their feelings, I was not only mending the rift between us, but also reinforcing the foundation of our relationship. Reflecting on these lessons, I began to weave them into my daily life. I sought out opportunities to practice empathy and vulnerability outside of my family. I opened up to friends about my own insecurities, and in return I found that many were longing for a similar connection. I began to cultivate an environment where honesty was encouraged, where people felt safe to share their truths without fear of judgment. As I sat there that autumn afternoon, I understood that the journey of healing is ongoing. Each day presents new challenges and opportunities to practice the lessons I had learned. The beauty of life lies in its complexity. The same family that had once hurt me also had the power to heal me. I realized that the relationships we often take for granted can be the very ones that teach us the most about ourselves. I invite you to reflect on your own experiences with family and respect. Have you faced moments of misunderstanding? How did you find your way back to connection? Your insights can help others navigate their own paths of healing. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found value in this journey of self-discovery and resilience, consider subscribing to my channel. Your journey matters, and together we can foster a community where respect and understanding thrive. As I continued to reflect on these lessons, I became increasingly aware of the subtle ways in which respect and understanding manifest in our daily interactions. One pivotal moment occurred during a family dinner a few weeks later. We had all agreed to share our current challenges, an exercise that felt both daunting and liberating. My father, usually reserved and stoic, surprised everyone by sharing a story from his youth, a moment of failure that had haunted him for decades. He spoke about the pressure he felt to succeed and how that pressure had shaped his parenting style. It was in that moment that I recognized the weight of unspoken expectations. This was not just a moment of vulnerability. It was a powerful reminder that everyone has their own narrative, often filled with pain and regret. This realization deepened my understanding of the seventh lesson, that respect is not just about acknowledging someone's feelings, but actively participating in their stories. This led me to another layer of self-discovery. I began to notice how often I had dismissed the struggles of others in my life. Whether it was friends or colleagues, I started asking deeper questions, trying to understand the motivations behind their actions. This practice of seeking to understand not only enriched my relationships, but also illuminated my own biases and assumptions. I realized that every individual we encounter is fighting their own battles, much like my family had been one day. While volunteering at a local shelter, I encountered a woman who shared her story of estrangement from her family. Her words resonated with me. She spoke of the pain of feeling disrespected and misunderstood. I could see the parallels between her experience and mine. This encounter reignited my commitment to empathy, reminding me that the lessons I had learned weren't confined to my family. They could extend into the broader community, helping me connect with others on a human level. As I delved deeper into these reflections, I also began to question the nature of respect itself. What does it truly mean to respect someone? I realize that respect involves more than just acknowledging someone's presence. It requires active listening and validation of their feelings. It means making a conscious effort to see the world through their eyes, even when our perspectives clash. This understanding prompted me to initiate conversations about respect in my workplace. I organized a series of discussions aimed at fostering a culture of open communication. I encouraged my colleagues to share their experiences of feeling disrespected and to explore how those moments shaped their professional identities. The response was overwhelming. People were eager to share their stories and, in doing so, build a sense of camaraderie. It became clear that respect was not merely a personal endeavor, but a collective responsibility. During these discussions, I often found myself reflecting on how my own family dynamics had influenced my views on respect. The lessons I had learned about vulnerability and empathy were now taking root in my professional life. I began to see how the values of transparency and compassion could permeate every aspect of my interactions, creating a ripple effect that extended beyond myself. Moreover, I found that sharing my own story, my experiences with disrespect, opened the door for others to do the same. It was as if I had unintentionally created a safe space where vulnerability was welcomed, and honesty was not only accepted but celebrated. This environment fostered a sense of belonging and trust that had been sorely lacking before. As I navigated these new dynamics, I also recognized the importance of setting boundaries. Respecting myself meant standing firm in my values and expectations. I learned that it was okay to voice my discomfort when I felt disrespected, even if it was with those I loved. This was a challenging lesson, as it meant confronting uncomfortable truths and possibly facing backlash. Yet I understood that boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. They serve as a foundation upon which mutual respect can flourish. One evening, as I prepared dinner, I found myself reflecting on how far I had come. Since that pivotal conversation with my family, I realized that the lessons I had absorbed were not just fleeting moments of introspection, they were transformative insights that could reshape my life. I began to see the power of gratitude as well. By expressing appreciation for the small gestures of kindness, I was reinforcing the bonds of respect and understanding. Incorporating gratitude into my daily life became a practice. I started thanking my family members for their contributions, no matter how minor they seemed. Whether it was my mother for her unwavering support or my brother for sharing his struggles, each acknowledgement acted as a thread weaving us closer together. This shift in perspective illuminated the beauty in our shared experiences and the potential for healing that lay within our family unit. As I continued this path of growth, I found it essential to share these insights with others. I began to document my experiences in a journal, not just as a means of reflection, but as a way to articulate the lessons learned. Sharing my journey on social media and within my community allowed me to connect with others who had faced similar challenges. It was humbling to see how our stories intertwined, creating a tapestry of shared experiences. In moments of doubt, I revisited the core lessons I had uncovered. Vulnerability creates connection, empathy fosters understanding, and respect is a reciprocal dance. These principles became my compass. Guiding my interactions and decisions, I recognized that every day presented an opportunity to practice these lessons, and every challenge was a chance to grow. As I sat on my porch one evening, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple, I felt a profound sense of peace. I realized that the journey of healing is not linear. It ebbs and flows, but each step forward builds resilience. In fostering an environment of respect, I had not only transformed my relationships, but had also cultivated a deeper understanding of myself. I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on the lessons you've learned in your own life. Have you faced moments of disrespect that led to growth? How have you navigated the complexities of family dynamics? Your stories are invaluable, and sharing them could help someone else on their journey. If you've faced family disrespect, share your thoughts below and subscribe for more insights on healing and resilience. Your journey matters, and together we can cultivate a community where understanding and respect thrive. As I reflected on the intricate dynamics of my family, I began to realize how deep-rooted patterns of behavior had shaped our interactions. It became clear that many of us were operating on autopilot, reacting out of habit rather than intention. This prompted me to explore the concept of generational trauma, a term often used to describe how unresolved issues from one generation can affect the next. In many ways, I was witnessing this phenomenon unfold within my own family. During one particularly evocative conversation with my sister, she shared her struggles with anxiety, a battle that had been exacerbated by our family's history of unaddressed emotions. Her honesty struck a chord with me, and I found myself grappling with the idea that our collective inability to communicate effectively had created a ripple effect of pain and misunderstanding. This realization led me to understand the eighth lesson, that breaking the cycle of disrespect often requires confronting uncomfortable truths. As I navigated this new understanding, I began to seek resources that could help me approach these conversations with more empathy and clarity. I turned to books, podcasts, and even therapy, delving deeper into the psychology behind our familial relationships. This quest for knowledge not only equipped me with tools for better communication, but also provided me with a sense of empowerment. I realized that understanding the roots of our issues could pave the way for healing, not just for myself, but for my family as a whole. One pivotal resource was a podcast episode featuring a psychologist who specialized in family dynamics. Her insights on the importance of vulnerability and emotional honesty resonated with my experiences. She discussed the necessity of creating a safe space for dialogue, something I was eager to implement during our family gatherings. With newfound inspiration, I proposed a family meeting, a space where we could openly discuss our feelings, share our stories, and, most importantly, listen to one another. During this meeting, there was palpable tension in the air. My heart raced as I initiated the conversation, guiding my family through a series of questions aimed at fostering openness. To my surprise, my siblings and parents began to share their own experiences of feeling unheard and unappreciated, each story peeling back layers of hurt that had accumulated over the years. The act of sharing became a cathartic release for us all, reinforcing the idea that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Yet, even amidst this progress, I encountered moments of resistance. Some family members struggled to voice their feelings, caught in the web of past grievances. This led me to my ninth lesson. Patience is crucial in the process of healing. I learned that change doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistent effort and a willingness to meet each other where we are. This understanding helped me cultivate an atmosphere of support, allowing my family to express themselves at their own pace. As these conversations continued, I started to witness subtle shifts in our interactions. My parents began to show more willingness to express their feelings, while my siblings and I learned to listen without judgment. It was as if a weight had been lifted, creating an environment where respect could flourish. However, I also recognized that this newfound openness came with its own set of challenges. Navigating complex emotions and differing perspectives required ongoing commitment and skill. I found that sharing my own experiences of disrespect during these discussions opened doors for deeper connections. By being vulnerable about my past, I encouraged others to do the same. This reciprocal sharing fostered an environment where respect was not only voiced, but also practiced. Each story shared became a building block in our collective healing, reminding us that we were not alone in our struggles. One evening, as I sat reflecting on our progress, I was struck by a profound sense of gratitude. I began to see how the act of sharing our pain had transformed into a collective journey towards healing. This realization led me to incorporate gratitude into our family discussions, encouraging each member to express appreciation for one another's efforts. By acknowledging the small victories, like someone speaking up after years of silence, we reinforce the foundation of respect that we were building together. The practice of gratitude extended beyond our family meetings. I found myself actively looking for opportunities to express appreciation in my daily life. Whether it was thanking a colleague for their hard work or acknowledging a friend's support during tough times, these moments of recognition enriched my relationships. It became evident that gratitude not only nurtured connections, but also encouraged others to reciprocate, creating a cycle of respect and understanding. As I delved deeper into these practices, I began to notice the impact on my mental well-being. The act of fostering respect and understanding in my relationships provided a sense of fulfillment that I hadn't anticipated. It was as if I had unlocked a new layer of happiness that stemmed from genuine connections. I felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that my efforts could lead to positive change, not just for myself, but for others around me. One day while attending a community event, I encountered a young man who was visibly upset. Instead of dismissing his feelings or offering hollow reassurances, I decided to engage him in conversation. I asked open-ended questions, seeking to understand his perspective. As he shared his struggles, I felt an overwhelming sense of connection, realizing that the lessons I had learned extended far beyond my family. This moment reinforced my belief that respect is a universal language, one that can bridge gaps between individuals from vastly different backgrounds. Through these experiences, I came to appreciate the power of storytelling. Each person I encountered had their own narrative, often filled with trials and triumphs that shaped who they were. I began to see that by sharing our stories, we could foster understanding and respect in ways that transcended our differences. This became my 10th lesson. Storytelling is a powerful tool for connection. I started to actively seek out opportunities to share my story with others, whether through social media, community forums, or casual conversations. Each time I opened up, I noticed how it encouraged others to share their experiences as well. This exchange created a sense of solidarity, reminding us all that we are more alike than different. In a world often divided by misunderstandings, storytelling became a bridge that connected us on a fundamental level. As these lessons continued to unfold, I felt compelled to create a platform for others to share their stories too. I envisioned a community where individuals could come together to share their experiences of disrespect and healing. This idea blossomed into a project aimed at providing a safe space for dialogue where vulnerability was celebrated and respect was paramount. I knew that by fostering such an environment, we could cultivate a culture of understanding that extended far beyond our individual lives. In the midst of these reflections, I invite you to consider your own experiences with disrespect and the lessons you've gleaned from them. Have you encountered moments that prompted growth and understanding? How have you navigated the complexities of your relationships? Your stories are invaluable, and sharing them could inspire someone else on their journey. If you've faced family disrespect, share your thoughts below and subscribe for more insights on healing and resilience. Your journey matters, and together we can cultivate a community where understanding and respect thrive. As we conclude this journey through the life lessons learned after experiencing disrespect from family, it becomes clear that the path to healing is often paved with vulnerability, patience, and open communication. Each story shared within our family not only peeled back layers of past grievances, but also reinforced the vital importance of respect and understanding in our relationships. The realization that we are interconnected through our struggles has transformed my perspective, allowing me to engage more deeply with those around me. By fostering an environment where vulnerability is celebrated, we create a culture of respect that can extend beyond our immediate circles. I encourage you to reflect on your own experiences and consider how sharing your journey could inspire others. Your voice matters, and by participating in this dialogue, we can build a community rooted in empathy and connection. For those looking to elevate their YouTube journey, check out the Brazilian automation platform linked in the description. If you face family disrespect, share your thoughts below and subscribe for more insights on healing and resilience. Your journey matters, and together we can cultivate a space where understanding thrives. Remember, the stories we tell can bridge divides and foster connection. Let's keep the conversation going, because the world needs our stories now more than ever.